study, and today I have a humble what if for you. What if Deku was Ullr, the Norse god of hunting, as you might remember from your history classes, if you ever took them. Now, on to the what if. So Deku started his life in a different place. He will start living in the forest. He'll actually grow up there, as he is born to, I would say, his normal family. However, I would believe that his father actually would not die just yet. And his mom has a quirk that allows them to survive for longer, sort of a reproduction quirk of cells in something that she touches. However, its drawback is that she can, if she overdoes it, she can cause cancer. So yeah, that's kind of why her power's not that great. So basically, she's a regeneration quirk, but not exactly the greatest. Not like the Granny, but it gives them more food to eat. And if you eat cancer cells, I'm pretty sure that you don't get cancer, so that's a thing. So basically, yeah, they live out in the wild, and one day, Deku was being taught by his father when he was 5. He recognized the smell of a deer nearby. Almost instantaneously, he fired an arrow behind him, but missing the head of the deer as he was not as skilled with the bow. But this was enough to show his father that he has some type of quirk that allows him to smell or have his senses enhanced. So his father took it upon himself to teach him how to do archery and survive in the wild. However, they do live in, like, Canada at this point, I believe. So it is very, very cold. Deku gets natural resistances towards cold by this point, when he turns around, I think, at 10? Yeah, he's a very mature dude, and he has a very interesting quirk that allows him to basically have a lot better senses around himself and be able to smell really far. So he's basically really good at hunting. By this time, his father's getting old, so he takes up the whole hunting thing on himself. His father just, kind of like goes off and brings them firewood now instead. Till one day, a forest fire starts in one of the hotter days. However, today it snowed, even though it was not hot enough for it to be. It was not cold enough for it to snow. It was quite an odd day. And then a fire started. A very, very odd day. But this fire kept on spreading and spreading and spreading. The day got colder as he felt the heat come off from outside their cabin, which instantaneously caught on fire. He was not able to save his parents as they were soon caught in it. Even with his heightened senses, he wasn't able to save them. He runs out trying to find all of their belongings, grabbing them as fast as he can and running outside of the fire. It continues to spread and spread and spread until he realizes that the only way to start the fire is continuously spreading because it's being made continuously. It's not a natural fire. So he goes to what he would presume is the source, the middle of all of this. He finds a dude, not much older than him, almost 15, on the ground crying with scorch marks all around him and burning skin. His tears would sizzle up before they even hit the ground. Trying to reason with him and tell him to stop shooting fire, he wouldn't stop, as the fire got even harsher as he talked. He tried to appeal to his humanity and got closer, letting down his bow and all of his weapons that he had used. The kid says, "Stay back!" I said, as he throws his hand around, shooting fire straight at Deku's eyes, burning his eyes and setting his face on fire. As he plunges his face into this, he rolls around as he's caught on fire, putting it out before it could spread anywhere, but he's terminally blinded and cannot see anymore, as his eyes had been burned to a crisp. Then all white, as all the rest of his everything around his eyes are also white, making a mean scar across his face. The kid started running away, stopping the fire, making everything return back to normal as it kept snowing. Deku recovered from this later, and was that a villain? He asked himself. I have to stop that from happening ever again. Nobody will ever feel this pain again. However, I can't shoot my bow anymore. So he grabs his father's 2 axes and cuts off them in half, allowing him to use them as dual axes. He equips those 2 to his back and puts his bow also there. He walks off in the general direction that he heard the boy run off to. This is going to be one hell of a roller coaster. So, as he walks this long, treacherous, journey throughout the wilderness, he's practicing using his axes and being able to throw them, and sensing his opponents to a point where he can use his bow again, slightly. He can actually smell his opponents more than he can hear them. As such, he can smell almost everybody within a 50-meter sort of distance around him. However, he has to be focusing and not be disturbed. So he goes and once he gets there, he walks into a gigantic city. By this point, he's around, 13? He has never seen a gigantic city like this. He's freaked out by all the structures and just scared in general until he sees a villain fighting the wood guy, the wood hero. This time, Mount Lady isn't around, as he can't even smell any hero coming to his rescue. He says, I'm gonna have to help. As he's about to cover the villain in the spikes, Deku fires 2 arrows into the back of the villain, knocking him straight into the ultimate attack of the wood guy, encompassing the villain fully this time and securing the capture. He hides himself back into the shadows as some people saw him, wondering if that's a new hero. So he ships off back into the as then he's met by Aizawa, who was on the way to try to help Wood. Aizawa stops Deku, asking him what's his name, as he can sense some divine energy coming off of him. Divine? What are you talking about? I'm Ullr, son of Odin. Odin? So you're one of those, huh? What are you talking about? In this back alley meeting, basically, between Ullr and frickin' Aizawa starts explaining what exactly his situation is. That he's stuck here as a god. Gods have been banished from heaven, and as such, they have become mortals. You are simply one of the few that has taken upon the characteristics of one of the gods, likely chosen by him. And Aizawa also asks, why are you wearing that bandage around your head? The bandage? Oh, yes. I was blinded by a fire-wielding foe, a kid. I tried to reason with him, and I got blasted in the face. Not exactly the best outcome, I would say. Blast in the face? You mean... No way. What direction did he run? Straight here. I was following him. Looks like you might become a good hero after all. How old are you, kid? How long has it been since 2019? About 2 years. I'm around 14. You're just old enough to become a hero. Good. Come to my class in about 6 months. I'll hunt down this kid with you together, alright? They clasp hands, and, they high-five, basically. They clasp hands, no. God, stop, please. They high-five each other, and that starts a mantra of Deku hunting down this kid that had burned off his eyes. However, finding the kid is much harder than he thought. He had tracked him down into the deep underground. He could smell his scent. He would recognize that fire, the burnt flesh smell from anywhere. So once he finds the underground area of where the villains are meeting, he lets in one of their plans. He's able to take a glimpse, and since he basically is a really good hearer, he can hear slightly through glass, especially the glass that they have at the villain headquarters, because it's bullet proof. He listens in on one of their conversations about the God Killer Squad, basically. And he says, what the hell is a God Killer? And then they list the exact date of the USJ attack. However, one of them looks up suddenly, a girl named Toga. He hides himself very fast as he has natural reactions to this type of stuff. However, he feels like he's insane. He slowly cloaks himself, leaving as steadily and as fast as he can while not being suspicious. Once the UA exam starts, Deku is already accepted into school basically, but he goes to the same one as Bakugo or Todoroki, which would be the one where there's 10 of those 0 pointers, right? Basically, he's given some equipment from Aizawa. Aizawa wants to reward him for figuring out that there's going to be an attack on some day, but they don't know where it's happening, but still, that's really important to them. So as a reward, they give him bomb arrows. These bomb arrows are able to ricochet, and then if you hit something exactly on the tip, it'll spike in, extend out its tip, and basically just like lodge itself into whatever it is, and then explode. This was mostly just because they wanted him to go through the test without, like breaking anything, because he needed to, get through it. But basically, he just headshot all 10 of them within the first, 20 seconds, and then blew up them. So the test ended really, really fast, making Todoroki and Bakugo really mad. He sent movement bots, took away Deku's arrows, and then said go again. Clearly it was too overpowered. Deku showers them with arrows, spiking them in their legs, making one, 3 fall over, allowing Bakugo to get the kill on 2 of them, and then Todoroki to ice spike 1 straight through the head. They get points for teamwork. Although Bakugo says it wasn't teamwork, he did it all himself, which annoys the hell out of Ullr. But he'll take what he can get. They all pass, and on to the UA exam. I mean, not just UA in general, yeah. First day, he walks in, Bakugo's still just arguing it with Ida, of course. He just, strictly walks in. I feel like, since he and Aizawa are just, buds, Aizawa just says, come early, and he does, and they start discussing about what to do against this attack, supposedly. What could it be on? Who would it be against? He said that it's against, it's to take down the best hero. And he says, that must be All Might, then. All Might will be in the meeting that day, though. I must warn him. As before that happens, all the students walk in, and Aizawa was like, oh, shit. I can't do it now. So basically, that all happens. He goes and warns All Might. All Might says that he'll be on guard that day, and he'll have all the teachers with him. So basically, that's okay. And then they have the physical test, which Deku does amazing on. He jump test pretty much can double dash in the air just by exploding his legs, creating wind force under him, propelling himself up in the air a little bit more, but just enough to win out all the rest of the people. His speed is immaculate because he's been chasing down deer and outrunning them every single day. The freaking baseball test. I mean, he can just shoot it with a bomb arrow instead of exploding it like Bakugo, which he gets pretty good, but not as good as Bakugo because it's still just a bomb arrow. So it's not gonna it's not gonna go as far, okay? So basically, Deku does fine on that. I don't think Mineta gets kicked, and we're on to the next thing, where is the USJ. Aizawa is slightly on guard today, as there's a possibility that they attack them instead of, All Might, and lure All Might into the trap. But, Might by himself. He said that All Might would, pretend to be weak while doing the, interview. So, Aizawa's nervous about, All Might, and as such is distracted. So all the villains enter, he's a bit distracted, and they end up, teleporting everybody away before Aizawa can even look himself. See, now he has to face most of the armies just alone, which will not be him, as he'll have to face Tomura, Shigaraki, and their whole entire armies alone. However, he did not consider that Deku just, Deku's speed. They sent him to a forest area. Probably the worst area to send Deku in because he just shot 3 arrows up into the sky as he saw, he smelled Tomura making a speech. He could hear him from the forest. He shot 3 arrows up into the air and shot the 2 arrows went straight through his hands. As he looked down, looking at his hands that just had 2 arrows shot through them, an arrow comes straight towards his head, which he dodges. Well, Kurogiri puts a portal over his head and puts a portal over there, which accidentally headshots the other villains. Just oh shit, sorry. My fault, whatever. Tomer's okay, so you're okay. Tomer's I'm not okay. He's shit. We need to get our food in the trees. So then they have 25 villains just rush through the trees trying to find Deku. Instantly get decapitated by like just two glowing axes. The one villain that was like the last one left that was lagging behind to get into the forest had an axe through the middle of his head, splitting his skull in half. Deku hops down out of the trees, ripping his axe out of the man's skull with a lot of blood on it still. He's like, I remember you. Yeah, you do. I was at the meeting. That little bitch saw me. You knew this was going to happen, eh? Well, not exactly. Thought you were going to go right after All Might. So you're Ullr. Yeah, what about it? God Assassination Squad assimilate. As almost all of the Hero Vanguard come out, except all the ones that followed Stain, come out of portals. That includes fucking just everybody that doesn't follow, that didn't come because of Stain. So they all exit out of the portals as he's instantly surrounded with, you know, all five of these villains. Pretty sure Toga would not wait her turn, just instantly stab him in the back before he could react. However, he grabs her hand after she stabbed him and then breaks it sideways. Her looking down, shocked by her hand breaking, he grabs her face and throws her into the orc guy who was just about to grab him. Turning around to see Twice, who was rapidly making more of him. He takes out his bow, shooting straight through all of the ones that he just made. Them all replacing right back into him. He's like, oh, come on, man, that's not fair. Gets shot straight in the mouth. He's like, shut up, this is war. You don't talk during war. All the rest of them, basically he just almost killed Winter, like a freaking God Squad, in like one like, oh no, what was that, 8 arrows? Yeah, 8 arrows. Except Mr. Compress is still awake and grabs onto his footprint, compressing him into a ball. He's like, couldn't see that one coming, huh? You think throwing a girl at me would work? As he kind of like jiggles the ball in his hands. Juggles the ball in his hands. Looking at it like he just caught his like new prize or some shit. He's like, that's one down. 300 to go. How many gods are there again? Tomura gets up saying, about 16. We got 5. This whole thing is really tiring. Is Twice okay, by the way? I'm not sure he's gonna wake up. Basically, Twice is just out for the count on the ground. I mean, he's destroyed. He takes out the arrow out of his mouth as he's healed up by someone, I guess. Just one of the villains, I guess. As they're like, okay, what's next? Freaking Aizawa just walks out, like, just gut punching one of the villains, finishing off one of the hundreds. Like, just completely demolished their whole army. Just like looks back at them as all of their all the students come out of their respective, you know, environments after they defeated all of their villains. Tomura looks to Shigaraki and nods as Shigaraki pulls out the Nomu. The Nomu squawks and, you know, generally growls like he does in the original, instantly jumping straight towards Aizawa. As they attempt to portal back, they suddenly hear, "This is justice!" As a huge sword cuts the portal in half, as a man lands right in front of them. Justice shall be served. He takes out the gigantic sword that he just wielded, and throws it behind him, starting a gigantic slash around him. He cuts down Tomura. Shigaraki freaking out, he teleports this unknown man to another location. Any location. He accidentally teleports him to their HQ. That was a close one. He starts teleporting everybody out again, as Mr. Compress goes first. Suddenly, Mr. Compress's like tiny little balls that he had in his hand start like rolling back through the portal, as the man that was there before his face pops out through the portal. He's like, "You think you can get away from justice?" Like, what the fuck? By the way, this is Tier. He's actually like top 10 hero here. He's like a judge in real life, but like he's a hero. So basically, Razi heard that they were being attacked. He just hopped straight there. Like he can jump across cities and stuff. He's pretty powerful. Anyways, he charges all of them, grabbing both Tomura and Shigaraki. Pinning Shigaraki to the floor, he breaks one of his chains. Pulling up his greatsword, he almost kills Tomura. Tomura rolls out of the way, getting back up, ordering all of them to attack him. They're all kind of, worried at this point until the Nomu turns around from fighting Aizawa, who he was promptly beating the shit out of, but Bakugo had helped Aizawa not hurt that much, so he doesn't break anything this time. Nomu grabs Bakugo by the face, throwing him down, knocking him out, until he hears Shigaraki, scream to the Nomu to do something about this guy. The Nomu starts bold charging straight at Tyr. Tyr's like, that's my thing, as Tyr starts rushing straight back at the Nomu. They clash in the middle, sending a gigantic shockwave that shatters all of the glass around them. All Might shifts back, making sure that there's no weakness to himself. Holding up his greatsword, he blocks two of the punches from the Nomu, reflecting them back. The Nomu's arms go in separate directions. Tyr shoves his greatsword straight through the chest of the Nomu. However, the Nomu doesn't even seem phased. As he kicks up the sword, it splits the Nomu in half. The body slacks down as the brain had been split in half. The Nomu unable to move. Tyr picks out his greatsword from the Nomu. Picks up one of the balls. He crushes it, releasing Deku. You okay, Ullr? Tyr puts down, reaches down with his, his lion hand that doesn't have a hand on it. He's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. He puts back his greatsword on his back, reaching down with his other hand, picking up Deku. It's good seeing you, Ullr, again. These bastards. As he turns around, all of the villains are gone. As All Might also enters through the sky. I am here! Ooh, where did everybody go? It's fine, All Might. I got it. All Might's like, thank you! What the hell are you guys looking at? Like, why are you guys so confused? They're like, who is that? He's like, why, that's Tyr! One of the top heroes, don't you know? I haven't been in... It's fine, All Might. I haven't been in service for almost 20 years. Because of these guys. Thank you, Ullr. You brought them out in the daylight, which means I could eliminate at least one of their strongholds. Now I know exactly where they are. And thank God you're not dead. Welcome, God. Deku is just like, what do you mean God, first of all? He's like, you're Ullr, correct? He's like, yes, but I only have the powers of Ullr himself. Tyr's like, I'm not Tyr himself, but I represent everything that he is. So I am Tyr. I mean, I guess I'm Ullr. Yes, Ullr sounds nice. That's your name. He handshakes freaking Ullr, and Ullr handshakes him back. Kind of them both grinning at each other as Ullr says, oh, my ribs. He's like, yeah, you should probably go get healed up. Go get ribs fixed. You go get your ribs fixed, too. Jesus, if they have Nomus, think what else they have. So, basically, they go get fixed. All Might feels bad for not, being there to save them. And just generally, everybody's pretty fine from this, except Deku. So, other than that, they're pretty okay. So I think that's going to end this one off. Thank you so much for watching. This one was actually really fun to do. I don't know. Ullr is just a cool character. He's blind and shoots arrows. It's just, it's very simple and yet very, very fun to do. Thank you for watching this one. I hope that you liked it. Really. I really do. And I'll see you someday. Sometime.